In the first part, we see when Saeloy gets transferred to a new school and punches the school bully. Seeing him bullying another kid, he gets expelled. Then, when Bully accidentally kills his father, he goes to Bully and tries to kill him. At the last moments when police try to shoot, Soo-hwa stops. But he goes to jail as Gyun-won's father files an attempt to murder case against him. In the jail, Gun-won's father visits Saeloy. He tells Saeloy that it is quite unfortunate that Saeloy's father died, but that doesn't mean Saeloy should take out his anger on Gun-won. Saeloy replies nothing but asking for the reason for his arrival. Then Gun-won's father says one will get more and more stubborn as he gets older. It also hurts him seeing his employee sons like this in jail, the employee who worked for him 20 years in his company. But the way Saeloy acted and his unwillingness to accept his wrong makes Gyun-won's father more stubborn to fix that attitude. While listening to nothing, Saeloy asks again what the reason he came here. Gyun-won's father then tells that he is here to give another chance to Saeloy. If Saeloy admits his mistake and kneels in front of his son, he might take back the case. Hearing that, Saeloy gets enraged and tells Gyun-won's father that they are the one who should ask for forgiveness. Afterwards, Junwon's father tells that conviction, ambition, these are cheap words that people that know pride use. And if they are unable to gain anything out of this feeling, it just ends up making them look foolish and useless. And he hopes Saeloy enjoys his time in jail, reflecting upon his mistakes. Here we see Gunwon tries to make an agreement, cause it's his fault that he hit the motorcycle. Gunwon's father declines that and tells him that he is planning to make Gunwon his successor. But he also has alternatives. Then he adds that if they try to settle this in court, it will tarnish Gunwon's reputation, and that reputation he can't become the successor. He advises Gunwon that one can never gain anything in life with righteous morals. Most people say that eating dogs are a form of animal abuse and will refuse to eat them, but they will eat these pigs quite well. Even though pigs are quite intelligent, but people will still eat them even after knowing it because every part of the pig is delicious. These people are hypocrites. Why are they hating people for eating dogs while they themselves are feasting on pigs? After that, Gunwon's father gets lost on his own thoughts. Seeing that Gunwon gets little worried. After that, his father comes with another analogy. He says, from catching chickens and all the way to maintaining them if you know how to do this. Well, that is when you call yourself as their owner. Now, picking one chicken, he tells that he is going to cook it up. Before that, he's going to snap its neck and rip off the feathers and pull out the organs. Afterwards, he is going to chop it into pieces and drench it in oil to be fried and eaten. Then he tells his son to snap its neck. Gyun-won gets scared of doing something like that. After when his father forced him to do that, he twists the neck of the chicken. As he hesitated to do this, chicken gets out of his hand while it starts flapping around, trying to live even after its neck gets broken. That's how Gyeonwon's father teaches his son the difference between him and Saeloy. Gyeonwon's father tells Saeloy was born to be fodder while Gyeonwon was born to be a human. He can't stand the fact that he was looked down upon twice by him. He tries to make Gunwon think Sailoi as the chicken. And if he is really his successor, he should never feel guilty about eating chicken and pigs. After Gunwon's affirmative answer, he tells Gunwon to break the neck of the chicken properly. Even in hesitation, he breaks the neck of chicken as he thinks that by doing this, he finally became human. Sailoi was transferred to a jail room with more criminals. The moment he enters, he gets hit on his head by another inmate, and that guy tells him to respect them kneeling in front of them. He starts laughing at this, starts to murmur why everyone is obsessed with his knees. It feels like everything in this world is trying to bend his knees. Would the world be a bit more peaceful if he kneels? But he can't do that, as he is his father's proud son. A man getting from a car suddenly speaks to Suhua. He tells he is from the Janga group. She gets a little worried, hearing that, and that the president likes to see her. After seeing Sailoi, Suhua asks what happened to his face. He avoids the answer. Then she tells she is going to Seoul tomorrow. And Janga offered her a scholarship of paying for tuition and living expenses. She received it by testifying to police that at that moment, Gyunwon was just the victim. She apologizes, saying she can't be strong like him because she is a coward. Even after listening to all that, Sailoi just gently smiles and tells her not to cry. He says as he hit Gyunwon, it wasn't wrong for her to report that to the police. Rather, he thanks her for stopping him that time, cause if she didn't stop him at that time, he would have been here for murder. Sailoi tells her that if she made a decision, then to be faithful to that decision, and it wasn't wrong what she did. Listening, that Suhua eyes get full of tears. Afterwards, she asks what he is planning to do when he comes out. He replies that as an ex-convict, he can't become police officer anymore. And he read some books here. Among them, he also the autobiography of chairman of Janga. There, he saw Janga started as a small store and now it's become a big company, which quite impressed him. That's why he also wants to try it. Suhua asks if he is doing it as revenge. He says no. He was just thinking about what would be a fun job. He kept remembering that day when he first drinks with his father. Sailoi says he just wants to do this. In the meantime, a police officer enters saying their time is up. As she leaves, she asks him if he still thinks she is pretty and if he still likes her. He tells her she is. Then she tells she doesn't like poor guy, and thus wants him to earn lots of money after he leaves. After that, becoming rich became his dream. His heart had a gaping hole. Apathy. Funny. The one who made him apathetic was that person. Regardless, whoever he blames his dad is gone. So, of course. It didn't even cross his mind. That word. He can feel it filling up the hole in his heart. Thus, he wants to leave quickly from here. After getting out of the jail, Saloy sees some people welcoming a man beside him. He thinks his father also would have been here if he was alive. Due to his good behavior, he was released early. The person who was welcomed by his underlings calls him from car, saying he would like to give him a ride. Saloy politely declines as he wants to walk for a bit. It seems like they are quite familiar with each other. When that person was leaving, he told Saloy to contact anytime if he needed any help. His driver asks about Saloy, and he introduces him as a courageous and stupid guy. The waiter asks him what he likes to order. He orders spicy, soft tofu stew and a bottle of soju. Even though he will drink alone, he asks for 2 glasses. While eating and drinking, he remembers the memories with his father. Looking at that man's autobiography, he remembers his conversation with him in jail. At that time, he couldn't say anything. These past 2 years felt like an eternity for him, and he will refute every word that men said. The waiter tells him he left his book. Saloy says it's okay to throw it because he already memorized every line of that book. The life he will live now is as a lonely orphan, a high school dropout, an ex-convict. Though he has hit rock bottom, he is from any worries. The money his father saved up for his university and the death insurance comes to a total of 260 million won. Taking GED, going to university, both can be done in under 10 years, but he is not going down that path. The direction of his life has already been set. As all those are the values of his dad's life, he thinks that money must be used for some useful. He buys ticket for Seoul. As he was leaving, he thought about how different the mindset he had when he first came here. And he also leaves a lot of things behind. Like that Park Saloy went to Seoul. The first stop is Itaewon. When Saloy was in jail, Suhua sent him letters the entire first month. Suhua now lives in Itaewon, but that doesn't mean he is here because of her. Park Saloy's heart was filled to the brim with words. Those words were the words of his enemy. Park Saloy comes to Seoul to start a business of his own. He's been through all the renowned streets as he used to live in Seoul with his father. Strangely enough, he's never been to Itaewon. Does something like destiny exist? At 6 p.m., he arrives at Itaewon. The first thing he feels is a breezy autumn day. The date marked on the calendar is October 31st, which was Halloween. A man suddenly grabs him from behind saying, "Winter is coming." He gets baffled seeing this. And then he sees everyone in Itaewon Road were enjoying Halloween by immersing in their character. The street is completely crowded with full-grown adults in strange costumes. Saloy thought this street was strange. Beautiful building that makes him feel like traveling abroad. Everyone there seemed very free. While treading in awe on that day, on the street that seemed to encase the entire world, it makes Saloy fell in love with the view. Suddenly, a stranger wearing weird clothes calls him, saying his name. Saloy starts screaming, seeing that man in those scary clothes. But this man turns out to be Suhua. She asks him, when did he come out? Suhua then takes Saloy to a quiet neighborhood. She asks his reason for staying in Itaewon, and adds if he came here to see her. She takes him to her favorite bar. Bartender greets Suhua. Then he tells Saloy that he is handsome and asks if he is her boyfriend. Without giving Saloy a chance, Suhua says that he is nothing like that. Hearing that, bartender asks Saloy if he has a girlfriend. Saloy replies negatively. Afterwards, Suhua mentions a name Philip, which helps to stop his irrelevant flattery. Saloy get a little confused at this. While Suhua orders her usual drink, Saloy was hesitating to order anything from the menu because everything was expensive for him. He then orders soju. But Suhua tells bartender to give him a Guinness draft and tells Saloy that it's good. Suhua asks Saloy what he was doing the 2 months after his release from jail. He tells he was making some preparation. Saloy then asks if she is attending university. She says yes, and she will be working from next year. She is most likely going to join Jenga. Although a while ago company took a fall, she is still deciding to join it. She asks what about his wanting to manage a store, as he said before, and asks about his preparation. She then wants to know where he is planning to start. He tells he will take some time deciding about this thing, and he might start from here as he likes this place. Afterwards, she tells him he would need lots of money to start a bar here. This place is not famous for people staying out all night. On top of that, the deposit on storefront here is more than 200 in any good locations, and monthly rent is also expensive. Even hearing all that, he doesn't seem to falter. Rather, he still looks full of spirit. He says it would be still nice to be here as he fell in love with this place. She asks about money, cause it hasn't been long. He got out from jail, and it's sure that he doesn't have that much money. He tells her he will start saving. She starts to think, coming those words without any actual money from any normal guy would have been bluff. But for Saloy, it might come true as there is certain strength in his every word. She asks when he is going to start arranging. In reply, he tells her it would be in 7 years. As she gets shocked, she spits all her drink on Saloy's face. She asks what he is going to do until then. He answers that he would do deep-sea fishing. She again spits all her drink on Saloy's face. Then he tells her it was really difficult for him to get a seaman's certificate as an ex-convict. With eerie expression, Suhua asks Saloy when he is going. Hearing him says he would leave the day after tomorrow, and she gets shocked for the 3rd time. But he was prepared this time. That night, Saloy got free of some emotion that had been warring within his heart. It was fun for his first Halloween. Then again, he also goes first time to a club. He finds restaurants he's never seen before, with the girl he loved once. For him, it was a perfect day that couldn't be topped. After that day, Saloy left again for a whole 7 years. Suhua is now 29. That day was the last time she had seen Sailoi. Enough time has passed that her memories of him are hazy. As she looks at a food store for a moment, a guy suddenly calls with her name. It turns out to be Sailoi. He asks about her well-being. Exactly after 7 years, he takes a shop located on Itaewon's main shopping street. Those seemingly hollow words spoken at the age of 22 were fulfilled by Sailoi. After seeing the first time in 7 years, he tells Suhua she didn't change much. But Suhua looked a bit too shocked seeing that, while for him, it was only natural.